You guys, I hope you can hear me well enough and that the noise of the waves in the background will be tonic. Here at what she told me her name was Queen of Wands Lake in Montana, also known as Ashley Lake. But you guys, I fucked up big time. I fucked up. I was so excited because I had an interview scheduled today at 1 p.m. with Polly Young-Eisendrath, who I've talked about quite a bit on my channel, to talk about her books, Women in Desire and Love Between Equals. When I woke up at 4 a.m. this morning, Lady was in the van, and I had an intuition to close the door, and I did. And she was very upset. She wanted to go outside, and I thought, oh, well, of course she'll be back. So, I'll let her go outside again. Well, she didn't come back. And I basically had to make a decision whether to leave and go get service, because I don't have service here, or to forego the interview and wait for her. And to be honest, I tried to leave, which I knew was a bad idea. I knew it wasn't right. Because let's face it, I mean, even if I'm having an interview, getting to do a divine dialogue with one of my greatest role models, I would still choose to have Lady in my life. And, I probably could have left and come back, but just to show that that wasn't right, I literally went to back out and backed into a tree. Not hard. And everything was fine. It just knocked the generator and jarred me, but immediately I was like, okay, I can't leave. So I've been through it. I've been sitting out on rocks on the lake out here and bawling my eyes out and feeling like a total failure. And that's actually why. And then on top of that, I have a modeling gig tomorrow to do some modeling for a cool outdoor recreation shoot up in Libby, Montana, that a good dear friend of mine, Alex, hooked me up with, that I'm really excited about. It's a way to help sustain myself on the road. It's a paid gig. Speaking of which, hey, if you're watching this, if you click in the About section, there's a place where you can donate some gift of magic to keep this adventure and all of my writing and creating going, and to support Peter, and you can see Tortigra back there, and Lady and Rosalind and I would really appreciate that. But on that note, it's a paid modeling gig tomorrow, which stoked for. And now I'm I don't know when Lady's coming back, so I don't even know if I'll make that. And just going into a total shame spiral of, you're insane for living out here with a cat and being on animal time instead of person time. You blew it with an idol of yours. She's probably never going to talk to you again after you wasted her time today. Couldn't even get to service to tell her you weren't doing the interview, and now you might fuck up and not make it to that job tomorrow, because I can't leave Lady. I can't leave my family. And what are you doing? So I'm listening to the book, which I highly recommend, whether you are a male or a female. It's one of the most powerful books I've ever read. And I know I say that a lot, but I read a lot of powerful books. It's called Unbound, A Woman's Guide to Power by Kasia. I'm going to mispronounce her last name probably, but Urbaniak. Kasia. Kasia is her first name. Unbound. Thank you to my friend Jess for recommending it to me. And it was so perfect because I was just listening to that, and that's what inspired me to make a video. Make gold out of lead here. Alchemize a really fucking shitty, depressing, hard-ass day into something into perspective, actually. For me, and then hopefully for you. Which is just this. She just talks about, she talks about women specifically, and there's a lot to say about sociological and historical conditioning and all these things. It's true for men too, though, so whoever's watching this, or non-binary folks, anyone, we tend, especially as women and in general, so much to focus on our failures And then that sends us into a shame spiral, right? It's like, okay, I should, there I go using the word should, followed my intuition and not let her outside, and why did I do that, and I'm crazy, and this isn't gonna work out, and I fucked up that interview, so now I'm not gonna make it to the job tomorrow, and what am I doing? I'm not gonna be able to make it out here on the road, I'm not gonna be able to do this, I'm blah, blah, blah. Focusing on failure, spiraling into shame. And her anecdote for it is instead to use that introspection, that inward surrender, instead of using it to self-police and self-deny and self-deface, using it to self-celebrate. So instead of beating myself up endlessly for the one divine dialogue that I didn't make it to the meeting for, which just so happened to be the one that I was feeling most, this is the vibe that I need to bring, right? The one that I was feeling most excited about. Not that they haven't all been so amazing, it's just I couldn't believe it that Polly replied to me. So instead of focusing on that, I can sit here and be like, you know what? I celebrate the 30 divine dialogues that I have completed and shared in the past couple months. Instead of beating myself up for being crazy living on the road with a cat, I celebrate that I'm brave enough to live out here on the road with my family and trust them to be able to be free and come back when they're ready, and trust their timing of things. Here comes a fishing boat. So, celebrating ourselves, like celebrating that I have beautiful connections that got me that job tomorrow, celebrating the people who have donated and supported me so far on this trip, like specific shout out and thank you to Corey and Kent and Jesse and Mom and Susie. Thank you to the people who have supported me. Like, I celebrate the fact that I'm brave enough to be out here living on the road. I celebrate the fact that I wrote 10 pages this morning. I celebrate the fact that I swam in this lake this morning and washed my hair with all natural shampoo. So I don't think it was bad for it. doTERRA. What is it, Meat? What is it, Mr. Meat? I celebrate the fact that I have these two amazing dogs that can just be loose and off leash and stay with me and come check in and just be so good. I celebrate the fact that I ate a really delicious, healthy meal today. And maybe it's just the small things, but I'm just saying, what about instead of those abnegation, shame spirals, we just do a little moment of celebration. And of course, this is just synonymous with what we're grateful for. I just love that word, right? Self-celebration. So what is something I want to hear? I want to hear in the comments and in the chat, what is something that you can celebrate today? Bug landed on me. And what else do I want to hear? That you're reading the book Unbound. Again, whether you're a man or a woman. Unbound by Kasia, A Woman's Guide to Power. I'll link to it for sure. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I'll show you a little bit. Let's get some river to... There we go. I want to show you the color. It's so beautiful. I celebrate the fact that I'm by this lake. Ashley Lake / Queen of Wands Lake. I celebrate the fact that I found a dragonfly picture yesterday that's now up in my van and makes me feel like I'm watched over by the fairies. I celebrate the fact that you're here watching this and that I'm connected to such a beautiful community. I celebrate my wins even in the midst of losses. And I celebrate you.